Hey everybody, it's Jason Blaha here, and once again it's time for the Q&A, so let's go ahead and get this started. Alright, first question. Hips rising too early on deadlift. When the weight gets to around 350, it starts to look like a good morning. I feel like it's contributing to low back pain. Is there a particular reason for this, or should I just stick to lighter weights? Let me ask you a question. If your form is breaking down that badly, that's usually a technique issue. Now, I say 95% of form problems are a muscle weakness. All right, and that means it's muscles that we need to correct and it'll clean our form up. But that's assuming you have quite a good base built and that you're proficient at the exercises. Fortunately for you, the conventional deadlift is the easiest exercise in the world to teach. If you go back and watch one of the videos I did on it, it was something about how to avoid arm bend on the conventional deadlift. Okay, I want you to think about something when you're talking about your hip shooting up. Why would your hip shoot up? What do you mean shooting up too early? I want you to think about that. What do you mean shooting up too early? I can tell you what shooting up too early means. Before you finish the deadlift and set it back on the ground and stand up. Yep, if they're shooting up before you're finished with the deadlift and have completely turned loose at the bar, that's too early. You were trying to squat the bar. Okay? You're trying to squat the bar and you have the bar rolled too far forward. The reason you have the bar rolled so far forward is because it hits your knees because you're trying to squat the bar up. You probably have toes forward, squatting too low, your knees are jutting way out, and you have the bar 4 inches too far forward. You need to get your toes out. You need to get your toes out, irrespective of what stance width you use. Turn those toes out. You need to come over and grab the bar and pull yourself down to the bar to the point to where it gets tight, to the hip position that your hips try to shoot up to, and that's where you need to pull from. Okay? But you need to turn those toes out. You need to pull that bar further back. I want you to, when you step up to the bar, when you get your feet in position, you need to look down at the bar and it needs to be midfoot. It needs to be splitting your foot in half. What do I mean by that? Halfway between your ankle and your toes. Bar needs to be in the middle. Turn those toes out and do not squat any lower than you have to get tight. What's happening is that you're getting loose. Got the toes pointed forward, knees jutting forward. You're squatting down to the bar while loose with the bar probably all the way to your toes. Way too far forward. And then you're compensating by trying to swing it out. Then your hips shoot up because they know that they're in the wrong position. And this could be fixed by nothing more than only dropping your hips as low enough as necessary to pull. Getting those toes out and getting the bar further back. There's your solution. Okay? It starts doing that around 350, right? And then it looks like a good morning. Do it the right way and you'll pull 365. And it won't hurt your back and it won't shoot up. Alright, next question. Hey coach, I box and ab work is a must for us. Not keen on doing endless amounts of sit-ups besides deadlifts. What do you recommend? I've been doing dumbbell overhead reaches and holding it as I feel this hard on my core. Good exercise or just foolish? Well, if you're just going to do stuff where you brace your core, and that sounds like what you're doing, squats, deadlifts, overhead press, are doing exactly what you're trying to replicate there. Now, if you were to ask me, do I do ab work? Yes. I do ab work to increase my deadlift. Do I have my lifters do ab work? Yes, all my clients do ab work. Why wouldn't we do ab work? Where is your ab work? You're talking about not doing endless amounts of sit-ups. Well, you need to be doing some type of crunch. Okay. Come back to me and tell me again. Hey, coach, I box and ab work is a must for us. Well, where's your ab work? Either you're serious about your sport or you're playing around. You're goofing off. You're effing around. Stop effing around. Drop the stupid ass sport if you're not going to train for it. Now, I'm going to be honest with you. If you are not willing to train correctly for a sport, you need to just quit and go do something else. Not keen on. Okay. Well, you don't need to do just sit-ups. That's fine. Why don't you do tons of standing crunches? Crunches with heavy bands. Crunches with heavy cables. Why would I say standing? Well, sport specificity. When some guy hits you in the guts, what are you doing? You're standing on your feet. You need to learn to brace your core and for your abs to be strong when you get hit in the guts while you're standing up. Standing ab work. You don't need to do endless amounts of it. But you know, how many sets a week do you put into building other muscles? All right, if we have weak hamstrings or weak triceps or whatever, how many sets a week are you going to do to fix that? At least 10. Spread it out through the week. I personally do standing band work and I do hanging leg raises. I don't do those to box. I do those to increase my squat and my deadlift. I do those to have better core stability. Okay, why can't you do the same stuff? Particularly the standing stuff, that's what you need. No, your other thing isn't going to help you. That's not going to help you any more than a deadlift will. Deadlift's going to do more. But you need to be doing direct ab work. And now let's come back over to that point. Do you want a better deadlift? Then you need to be doing direct ab work. It would be a real good idea. I gave you a couple of examples of stuff you can do. I'm going to recommend that you do them. Standing work with bands and cables. Hanging leg raises, right? Do 5 or 6 sets of each one of those every single week. Not going to take you that much time. It can be done at the end of workouts. It can be done on off days. All right, next question. How much further on with your strength and size goals do you think you would have been if you had been running better programming the past few years instead of the stuff you ran when your personal life was more hectic, etc., and before coaching people gave you more insight and a wider scope? Here's the issue with the question. How much different would my life have been had I not been in the situations that was making my personal life hectic? Do you see the issue with this statement? My entire life would be different. My entire life would have been better. All right? There were things going on in my personal life that made everything worse. So that you can't separate these things. You can't separate these things. It'd be like if a person had a really stressful 70-hour-a-week job that they had for several years and then things chilled and they started training better a year later. You say, well, how much better? Well, you couldn't have because their life situation dictated that. Things in my personal life would have prevented me from training correctly, but my entire life and everything going on would be different. Like, how do you predict stuff like that? You can't separate your training from the factors in your life. I mean, I could be in a totally different situation across the board. I'm not going to get into what decisions I made that put me in there, but I mean, I can be honest, a lot of stuff would have been different on my channel too. Now, that being said, realistically, if I were in a less stressful environment and didn't have the problems associated with things that were happening off camera in my personal life, which is, again, this is why we don't discuss my personal life. It's not people's business. And I don't have any of these problems anymore, any of these stressors. Of course, I would be a hell of a lot stronger. If I was using the training methodologies that I've been using for the past year, I don't know, 3 years ago, I'd be squatting over 600 pounds. I have no doubt in my mind. I'd be deadlifting 700 pounds. No doubt in my mind. Because these systems work. These systems work. But here's the thing. I'm going to tell you the sort of thinking of the question is weak-ass thinking, because we can't change those things. Right? I mean, we don't sit around saying, oh man, I wish I could take this back, or not have done this, or not have done that, or not been with this person, or been in this life situation. Okay? That is weak-ass thinking that's not going to get you anywhere. Like, if you sit around living with regrets, no, all you can do is change your actions in your situation in the present and the future. I can tell you right now, dwelling on what ifs, that's how losers think. that will cause you to fail. That will cause you to fail in life. That will cause you to fail in your training. It will cause you to fail making money. It will cause you to fail your future relationships. It's one thing to say, hey, I can learn from some bad experiences, which we can and we should. But when you start dwelling, what if, okay, you are completely screwed. You cannot be in that mindset. And I don't do that. I don't think about those things. That's one of the reasons I'm progressing. I don't obsess over things I can't change. You can't either, or it will hold you back in every aspect of your life. I don't care whether it's your training or your money or your relationships. You can't do that crap. You can't do it. Alright guys, so that's really all I have to say on that today. I hope it's been informative, and I will talk to you guys next time in part 2.